ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين.
Those are all prophets of God. Make sense?
Makes sense.
All right. Any questions you have about Islam? What do you believe? Do you believe there's one creator?
Do I believe that there's one creator?
Yeah.
I think that reality is really difficult to figure out sometimes.
All right.
Let's put it that way.
I feel you.
I think it would be somewhat presumptuous for me to suggest that I know what's going on.
All
I
right.
do think though that I am, but I also am not, and I mean that from the perspective because it's easy to be agnostic. You're just like,
Right.
I'm smart enough to know I don't know. That
Exactly.
sort of
Yeah.
thing. So I have no idea what's going on.
But do you believe there's a
Zero.
God?
Do I believe there's a God?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, you
So
would
that's a
think so.
step. All right. Good.
You know, it's got to come from somewhere.
There you go. You got to come from somewhere, right? Makes sense, right? So if you believe there is a God, do you believe that God would leave us without guidance, like without giving us, like for example, if you made a new product today, right? Wouldn't you want people to know how to use it correctly, right? Like let's say you designed a new type of phone that was this amazing new
It
phone,
would make sense unless you were just a watchmaker. You
Right.
Set it in motion and then
good.
did your
But
thing.
even when, have you ever bought a watch from the store, right? Did it come with like a little packet on how to use it?
No, they're usually instructions. You got to
There-
wind it. Right?
There you go. So if there is a creator, obviously he's very intelligent, he created us. Don't you think he would give us some kind of guidance how to live? Like what to do, what not to do?
I think so.
Okay, good. So we as Muslims believe that there is one creator like you, and we believe that creator sent us guidance in the way of prophets. Like Abraham, Moses, they said, okay, don't worship idols, don't worship stones. You should only worship the creator that created you, right? Don't kill, don't steal, the 10 Commandments, right?
Yeah.
So we believe that's guidance from the creator. Would that make sense to you?
Well, it does seem like there is a prevailing natural law that people, even if they have no
Excellent.
sort of religious
See, we call that fitrah,
underpinnings,
right?
they're aware
A
of that.
natural inclination to knowing certain things are right and wrong, and knowing that there is a creator. Like even if you go to a little child, when he prays, he doesn't go and look at a donkey and pray to a donkey. He'll point up at the sky, at the creator. He'll pray to God, even if he doesn't give it an image, right? So as Muslims, we believe that is something that was hard-coded within us, to know that there is a creator, to try to reach out. But then that's the mission of life, for you to see whether you're going to, as a Muslim, we submit. Submit to what? We submit to the will of the creator. So the creator tells us, look, don't kill, we don't kill. He says, don't steal, we don't steal. He says, don't rape. Why? Even though you may have some inclination that that's wrong, but sometimes, as you know, humans try to blur those lines for their own benefit, right? Wars and massacres, and I'm sure you know people get robbed all the time, right? Even though a person robbing them kind of knows it's wrong, but they do it anyway. So as a Muslim, we submit, we say, okay, you know what? We're not going to kill, we're not going to steal, we're not going to do that because we know that Allah, our creator, told us don't do it, right? So this is the Muslim belief, right? Would it say make sense to you?
That makes sense.
All right.
I mean, that makes sense.
Like people worship people. Like people go and worship a man or a statue, or they set up, like, they build a statue out of stone and then they put it on an altar and go and worship it. Does that make sense?
I think that people, to some extent, worship. If worship's a weird word.
Okay.
But what I have found more and more, and I'm guilty of it myself, is that, for lack of a better term, people are just make-em-ups. They just
Make them up? Good point.
They just make up their entire their
So true.
Their personality, everything about them is
Right.
very. It's like smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
I
So
think-
people make up deities, they make up ideas. There's
Right,
a
they
god
just
of
make up all
thunder, a
kinds
god
of
of, right?
Yeah.
But we as Muslims, we believe in following not what we make up, but what God revealed, right? So a man named Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, he was a man, we don't worship him. He got a revelation, right? He couldn't read or write. He couldn't write his own work. He couldn't read earlier works and make it up, but he would recite that which was revealed to him. And the people, when they wrote it down, that is the Quran. Do you have one?
Do I have?
A Quran?
No.
I'll give you one. That's a gift. No charge.
Okay.
This is a card about our stuff as well. So this Quran, this is the English translation of the meanings of the Quran, but this is what was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. Now imagine a man who couldn't read or write, a man who was not a poet, who had never even read anything, let alone written anything, but it was so beautiful, so eloquent, that when the poets of the Arab were told, can you bring a book like it? They couldn't. Could you bring a chapter like it? They couldn't. 10 verses, they couldn't. Why? Because this wasn't from Muhammad, right? This is from the creator of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, which is the same creator that inspired Jesus, that inspired Moses. Like you look in the Abrahamic faiths, you find some common themes, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of coming out.
Yeah, don't worship idols, like the 10 Commandments, right? No, your God is one. But then you see, like the Christians, for example, they start worshiping Jesus. They start making idols of Jesus, right? Like you said, they start making up stuff, right?
Yeah.
They start worshiping Mary, like the Catholics, or they start.
What I meant by that, and I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
but what
beautiful.
I meant by that is this, and I think that it's been pervasive throughout. Like everybody's kind of full of it, just a little bit. But I do think that more and more, especially as people live in a world that is increasingly detached, i.e., something where you can make a social media profile,
Right.
that people are able to come up with a reality that's incredibly self-serving,
Right.
and entirely false.
And not reality.
No, not
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
Not at all.
Exactly.
They're just total posers.
Exactly.
I mean, for lack
That's a
of
good
better
word.
term,
Yeah,
like
they're
super
posers. I got you. Yeah.
You know, like nobody
That's
calls people
true.
posers anymore.
Yeah, but that's a cool word. We got to bring it back. We're
think
bringing
so.
poser back.
I think so. Yeah, it's kind of a trip, though. I think about that a lot. But I do it too, you know, especially as I was a little bit younger. More so, I would hope than now, but I still know I do it now. You somewhat, it's very difficult to take a frank assessment of who you are.
Right?
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel good. You're kind
So that's very
'cause
true.
People are fallible.
People love to make up their own reality, right?
Yeah.
Because in their reality, they're king, you know, they're whatever, right?
Yeah.
And
Even
their
if they know
so,
that
so
that's
this is kind of, and again, that's a very interesting concept. Like even if you look at the concept of people saying Jesus died for my sins, right? What gives you kind of a pass, right? So yeah, I'm sinning, I'm doing whatever, but Jesus died for my sins, so it doesn't matter, right? And that's why as Muslims we don't believe that. We believe that we're held accountable for our deeds. We believe that even as a Muslim, that doesn't mean that I can do whatever I want and go to heaven. No, Allah will hold me accountable for on the day of judgment, I will give account. Right? That's why the religion of Islam is not something self-made, because it's not self-serving. Right?
Yeah.
It's a religion that says you need to be held accountable for what you do. You need to believe, you need to have the right aqidah, the right belief, but you also need to do good deeds. You need to always live a righteous life. If you sin, you need to ask forgiveness, otherwise you will go to account for it. If I sin against you, I have to fix that with you. Right? I can't just be like, oh yeah, I sinned against you, Jesus is going to pay the price. You see what I'm saying?
I just won't think about it.
Yeah, right? Oh yeah, exactly. Or don't think about it, right? Just kind of block it off. So that's why if you look at Islam, it's not something that's a self-made reality. Rather, it's accepting what is there, right? Yes, we know there is a creator, right? That's not something we can make up. Why? Because like you said, it's got to come from something, right? And we know that creator sent guidance. That's like you said, I mean, an intelligent creator, and we know the creator of humans will be more intelligent than us, then even the watchmaker gives you some kind of instructions. We believe those instructions were those messengers and the books they brought. The Old Testament, the Torah, whatever is there, whatever is in the Injil, what was revealed to Jesus, the Zabur was inverted to David, and the Quran, the last of them, that which was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Now, I can tell you're a well-read man. If you look at the conversation we're having tells me that, right? So, if you look at the Bible today, this is not the Injil, this is not what was revealed to Jesus, because the earliest scriptures that they have are in Koine Greek, a language that Jesus didn't even speak. He spoke Aramaic, that was his native tongue, right?
Yes.
A language he definitely didn't write in, and his apostles didn't write in. And the earliest manuscripts they have, even Codex Sinaiticus and whatever you have, are 4th century onwards. Most of the manuscripts are 7th to 9th century, right? So that means the early writings that must have been written by the followers of Jesus for his message are lost today. Today,
Yeah.
what we have is
The
a
Council of Nicaea
council.
sort of thing.
That's, I knew you were well read. The
Yeah,
Council of
they kinda
Nicaea,
put it
exactly.
together.
When they gave Jesus divinity. Before that, even if you look at the Arians, not the Arians from Europe Arians, but the Arians, the Christian sect, Many of them, they didn't believe Jesus was God. Right? They didn't believe he was the Son of God, right? They saw him to be a prophet. As in the Bible, it still has the prophet Jesus, right? So what happens is people want to make up their own reality. So they want to take their pagan festivals, they want to take their pagan ideas of God having intercourse and children, Zeus and Hercules and all this kind of stuff, right? And they want to bring it into Christianity, like Christmas. You know, Christmas got nothing to do with Jesus. It was never in the early time of Christendom, this was never taken until a particular writer went and kind of did his own calculations to tie Saturnalia, a pagan festival, with Jesus, to try to get the pagans of Europe to be more accepting of Christianity, right? So if you look at today, Santa Claus, reindeer, none of that's got to do anything with Jesus. It's got nothing to do with the 25th of December. This is all pagan. Same thing with the idea of God having a son. If you look at the Bible, I'm sure you've got one, right? You look at many people that were called sons in the Old Testament, right? Have you seen that? You want me to show it to you? Or?
What do you mean sons?
I'll show it to you. Can you hand me my Bible? So this is the Bible. You can tell I've read it a lot, right? If you look in the Old Testament even, it will say, "Then you shall say to Pharaoh, thus says the Lord, Israel is my son, my firstborn." Right? Now, every commentator here will tell you, Christian and non, that what is meant here is a term of endearment, not an actual son, right? Now, if you look at Solomon here, and this is 2 Samuel 7:13, "He shall build a house for my name." This is talking to David about Solomon. "And I will establish his throne, the throne of his kingdom forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son." Once again, term of endearment, not a problem. Now, in the book of Psalms, you see here in 2 Psalms, verse 7, "I will decree the decree. The Lord has said to me, you are my son. Today I have begotten you." Right? This is again in Old Testament, pre-New Testament. You also see Ephraim here in Jeremiah and so on. So when Jesus talks about the Father, in Aramaic, this could be a term of endearment.
Yeah, I get
But
that. Like
the
people
Greek-
call each other brother now.
Exactly. Like even when you go to a priest, you say, "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned." Or you go to a young man, you say, "Son, let me speak to you." Or I tell you, "Hey, brother," right? We don't mean a literal relationship, right? Yes, Jesus had no father. Adam had no father or mother. Eve had no father or mother. But that doesn't mean they're physically related to God. And then the idea of Trinity, Jesus being God, when Jesus himself, he says that there's only one true God, right? So the issue gets to be here. This is in John 17:3, and this is eternal life, that they may know you, Jesus speaking, the only true God. So he's speaking to God. He's saying, "May Allah, they know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent." So Jesus here, even in these, is telling us that there's only one true God, and that God sent Jesus.
Yes.
Right? So we as Muslims, we say, yes, Jesus was a prophet, but not God.
Yes.
Make sense?
Yes.
You got the Muslim belief.
In the Trinity.
Yeah, but you're past that, right? You don't believe in the Trinity, right?
Do I not believe in? I don't have any. And I say this like respectfully. I have no idea. I think it would be. I think it is common for people to have a conception of God like it is a person.
Right.
And that kind of limits the concept quite a bit.
Agreed. As a Muslim, we never give human qualities to God. In the Quran it says, "Laysa kamithlihi shay." There is nothing that can even be in a comparison to him. Kufuwan ahad. There is none like him. Right? As Muslims, we believe in Allah as the creator, as the same Allah that revealed to Jesus, to Moses, to Abraham, and we say he is nothing like the creation. He has sifat, he has his own characteristics, he has his own beautiful names that he has told us about in the Quran, and he has names that we don't even know about, right? But we don't give him human qualities.
Yeah.
Would that make sense to you?
That makes total sense.
Hey, Dave,
See?
are you guys?
So you got that Muslim belief,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
You believe in one God, one creator.
Yes.
You believe that we came from. You believe that creator sent us guidance in the way of prophets. That's a Muslim.
Okay.
All right? So read up. If you have our card.
I do.
Any questions you have? We're here for
I
you.
got time tonight. I was planning on reading something. So.
Well, then Allah brought you here by purpose. You didn't come here on accident.
You believe in you believe in that type of stuff?
I believe in it. Yes, I believe in qadr, destiny. Everything happens for a purpose.
Yeah, you would think so. If there's an omnipresent super being,
yes,
it's kind of odd to think that anything
that
happens,
you just
that it would be unaware of.
exactly. Read up. When you got questions, come back. When you're ready to be Muslim, we're here for you.
Awesome. Thank
All right.
you. You
have a
very
good one.
day.
What's
Take
your
care of
name?
yourself. My name is Thomas.
Thomas. My name's Uthman. Have a good one. You're like a newborn baby, and this is again. If you got $1 billion lottery, it would not matter because that $1 billion will end. But this finding your creator and your purpose in life is greater than that. So, do you want to do it in English first or Arabic first?
Arabic was fine.
Arabic
Yeah.
is great. All right. I'm going to say it. You just say it with me, okay? Ashhadu
أشهد
an
أن
la
لا
ilaha
إله
illallah.
إلا الله
Wa ashhadu
وأشهد
anna
أن
Muhammadan
محمدا
abduhu
عبده
wa rasuluhu.
ورسوله.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
You're Muslim.
Allahu Akbar.
We're going to do English. All right. I bear witness
I bear witness.
there is none worthy of worship
There is none worthy of worship
except Allah.
except
And I bear witness
and I bear witness
that Muhammad
that Muhammad
is the servant
is the servant
and messenger of Allah.
and messenger of Allah.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah. This is your community. This is your masjid.
This is a gift from you from the masjid.
This is Shaykh Ahsan. He's our imam here. And any Islamic questions you have,
Most welcome
he's
anytime.
mashallah a scholar. He studied from Al Great University in Saudi.
I'll say it in Arabic and I'll say it in English. Which word do you like, English or Arabic? I'll do both.
You can do both.
Okay. So which one first?
English.
English. Okay. So I bear witness
I bear witness
that there is no God worthy of worship
that there is no God worthy of worship
except Allah,
except Allah.
and I bear witness
And I bear witness
that Muhammad
that Muhammad
is his slave and messenger,
is a slave and messenger.
and I bear witness
I bear witness
that Jesus
that Jesus
is his slave and messenger,
is a slave and messenger.
and I bear witness in all the prophets before them.
And I bear witness to all the prophets before them.
I'll say it in Arabic now.
Yes.
Ashhadu
Ashhadu
anna
anna
la
la
ilaha
ilaha
illa
illa
Allah
Allah
wa ashhadu
wa ashhadu
anna
anna
Muhammad
Muhammad
abduhu
abduhu
wa rasuluhu
wa rasuluhu.
wa ashhadu
All right, ladies and gentlemen, in the Plaza de Panama, wonderful San Diego's Balboa Park.
Takbir Allah.
Allahu Akbar.
إن الآخرة لا بد يوما آتية كل الخلائق حاضرة كل السرائر بادية آمنت أن الآخرة لا بد يوما آتية كل الخلائق حاضرة كل السرائر بادية